Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable, our wonderful speakers, Professor Dr. Dahlia Janan, PhD, the Honorable,
Professor Soni Mirizan, MA, EDD,
the Honorable, all of the lecturers, staff of Universitas Sriwijaya, respectable all of committee participants of today's event.
welcome to the second event,
Language Education Research Conference and Expo 2023. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let's open this general lecture by reciting Basmalah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Next to the first agenda is a welcoming speech from our Professor Soni Mirizan, MA, EDD. Please.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi wa kafa, wassalatu wassalamu ala nabiyil mustafa wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsan ila yaumil muntaha. Okay, first of all, I'd like to express my gratitude, to everybody who happened to come in this event, Respected Dean of the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Sriwijaya University, Dr. Hartono MA, respected Vice Deans, 1, 2, and 3, also respected Secretary of the Department of Language and Arts Education, respected Coordinator of Magister Program in Language Education, and also our distinguished guest in this case. We have here with us Associate Professor Dahlia Janan from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Malaysia. We are really happy to have you here with us, Ibu Dr. Dahlia. Okay, and also I'd like to say hello to all the lecturers of Magister Program in Language and Education. Also all lecturers in the Language and Arts Education Department, all the students of this Magister Program, and the students who attend this event virtually. Okay. Today is the first day we will spend with Professor Dahlia Janan, right? Tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, we will also have some other events. This is one of the program that our faculty initiate this year, to have some adjunct professors, coming from different universities, this year, especially in the ASEAN regions, Okay, and then the next, today, we will have the general lecture actually, taken from the class entitled Critical Issues in Education. So that class or subject is one of the subjects offered to the students in the first year, in the first semester. So we would be happy to have Dr. Dahlia to give some informations related to the subject. As an information that this subject is offered, because we consider that this is important, you see. As a student majoring in education, they need to know issues in education. Certainly the recent and critical issues. Yeah. From years to years, we keep offering students different issues discussed in the class. All right. And this year, most of the topic are related to language ideology, language philosophy, and also teacher professional development, assessment, that kind of thing. Okay. Every year we offer students what they want to discuss. Yeah, even we have some other framework what to discuss, but there is a room for them to offer, yeah, interesting issues that they like to know. Okay, so in today's class, yeah, we leave it to Dr. Delia to decide what issues to discuss in this class. Yeah, certainly we will be happy to hear and then to get some knowledge from you. Okay, without further ado, I think let us just open this general lecture, and I'd like to hand in this mic to Dr. Dahlia to lead these sessions. Okay, thank you very much.
All right, we continue to our general lecturer, which the moderator is Millennium.
And also for our wonderful speakers, Professor Dr. Janan Dahlia Janan, sorry, please. Okay, for the moderator, please.
Oke, ya, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Venerable our lecturer from Sriwijaya University, and also our respectful speaker, Dr. Jana. So in this opportunity, let me introduce myself. My name is Millennium, and I will be your moderator for this general lecture. Okay, so without any further ado, I would like to invite our respectful speaker, Professor Dr. Jana, to present her material. To Professor, time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum. Alhamdulillah, I'm happy to be here. And previously, I think we have met during the, I'm not sure whether it's the same group, because I have delivered the lecture previously. It's an online lecture. It's on the model of disruption of the assessment. Did all of you involved, or maybe there's another group? Yeah, this is the group, isn't it? So that means, Alhamdulillah, now we are having a face-to-face meeting. Previously, we are just online. So today, thank you very much for the introduction, Prof. Soni, and juga Dr. Sari was in my university previously. Sari, I think Sari, that's the Dr. Sari, and Dr. Soni is from UPSI, and I've just met Ibu Tita. So today, as we know that this is the cause of a critical issue, last time I took one of your courses, one of the topic from your courses, from your course, which is the assessment, and I have delivered on the disruption, how to go about do the assessment if there's a disruption. So we have a disruption just recently, and we don't know, we might have in future, or this disruption may be in a different a length, a different way. So today, as a continuation of my presentation, so still on how we are going to go about and what have happened to us during the pandemic, and how we faced it, and what kind of pedagogy that we can use to cater what has happened. So I have prepared actually my slides. I'm waiting for the Zoom so that I can share with all of you. Just bear with me for a minute. Okay. Okay, great. So I got my slides ready. My slides are ready. As I said just now, previously we have shared, a lecture on the disruption, isn't it? So disruption, a lot of things happen, and because of this disruption, it changed how the way we think, all our activities, all disrupted. And in my previous, meeting with all of you on the online, so I have talked about the assessment. Now we go on the pedagogy. So how are we catering our students in the class after the pandemic, or even though if it's not a pandemic, we don't know in future we will say that pandemic is over, it's done. Now we move forward. So we move forward. But then even though we move forward, how are we moving forward? Because we cannot say those like you and me, we are in the period of the pandemic. So some of us lost our loved ones, isn't it? And then some countries, like in Malaysia, we do feel the pressure after the pandemic. Everything is changed because of the amount of money in the country have been allocated for the pandemic, and how we are going to move forward. So moving forward is not easy. So one of the thing, because all of you are in the S2 and is under education, isn't it? And language education. So when you are in language education, of course, you are going to teach. So what is the appropriate pedagogy that we can use when we want to teach our student in the class by catering their backgrounds? By catering their backgrounds is kind of it needs some experience. It needs to be discussed. We can't just say that, the pandemic is over. This is a set of students. Now you are in my class. Let's get started. No, we can't do that, isn't it? So this is where I become interested in this pedagogy of care. So because we are talking about a critical issue, isn't it? So our issue now is our student in the class, they're going to be those post-pandemic. So now most of them, if they started their class previously during the pandemic, if they are 7 years old, now most of them are around 9, isn't it? If you are teaching primary school. But if you are teaching in secondary school, what will be the age now for the student? Can anyone tell me? Because I don't have the experience here. For the Malaysian, the pandemic happened in 2020. So the students who are 13 years old, the secondary school students, 13 years old, now they are around 16 years old. So it is an issue for us to teach this group of students. So in your scenario in Indonesia, how old is these students for the primary school? What year they start? Can anyone tell me? This is not a one-way one-way lecture, okay? You can give me a response. So how old is the primary school student in Indonesia now for the post-pandemic? Can anyone tell me? In terms of the age, because the level, because we have the year 1, year 2, quite not easy, isn't it? So yeah,
Okay.
in terms of their age.
Okay, for primary school.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it start when we are 6 years old until 12.
Until
Yes.
I mean, during the pandemic in 2020, so your year 1 or started at 6 years old, is it? So your started at 6 years old. So most probably, this primary school children is going to be at 10 years old, isn't it? Now they are in the classroom at 10 years old, and for that means for your secondary will be in 15 years old. S2 yang the S2 in that is 15 years old, right? So bear in mind this group is still around. So bear in mind they are the one that facing the teacher, juggling themselves how to teach online. So we cannot just take them in our class by assuming they are ready for us like the previous groups, because they are not the same. This is what we are facing in Malaysia. So I'm sharing this because we understand that because of these changes of the disruption, so the pedagogy also have to be something that is near and can be helpful for them to learn. All right, this is where we call the pedagogy of care, and the pedagogy of care is quite new. It derived from the pandemic itself. So I am new as well in this area. I'm not the expert, okay? I'm just sharing this because I find it that this is something that we can both, for my, university and Unsri, and you as a new researcher in this area to look into. Right, can I have second slide? So if we can see the growing trend for the researcher after the pandemic is looking at the psychology part of our students. So in order to look into the psychology parts of our student, but that will be part of the psychologist. But for us, the educator, how are we going to help them? So this is coming out with this new, I think it's a new care pedagogy, what we call a new pedagogy types, because we have a lot. We have previously, we have project-based, we have problem-based, inquiry-based, isn't it? I'm sure that will be familiar with you, isn't it? But this is what we call pedagogy of care, and it's also known as care-based pedagogy. So when we do research in this area, that means we will be the one that is embarking in a new era of a pedagogy. So I really hope that I share something new, and all of you can, when you are going to write your research later, you can explore on this care-based research. And if you can see, because that's why I said to Dr. Sari, please remind our students to bring their laptops, because this is the way we study now. When I say now, you just browse. You can go to ChatGPT or anywhere, isn't it? It's not the one that we are here, we are the expert. The expert is the one that now is doing the moderating of the ideas. It's not the one who deliver now. It's changing. The world is changing. That's why I hope that you have the computer now. So if you can see, if you try to find journals on, try to go in now, type care-based pedagogy or pedagogy of care, you will see that the publication is not a lot, because it's really new. When it's new, it's good, because this is the way forward. So we will do a research on on the very fresh ideas in the research area. So if you can see, when you type, when you all looking into that, you also can see that this care-based or care-based pedagogy occurred when because of the pandemic. So this is what we are going to share together, and what we are going to share together is that how are we going to go about, what is the content, how to going about with this care-based pedagogy. So the key principles of the care-based pedagogy. So we are going to see what is the principles. From this principle, I just in my presentation, or when I do discussion with my students, what I like to do is that I will give you an idea for you to come and exploit. So if we see now, we are going to go for the key principles care-based pedagogy, but this principle is not in order. What I said that this is going to be the first one, second one, it's not in order. It's just that how I present it is just in randomly. All right. So if we can say the first principle. So the first principle is the principle we call nurturing relationship. So if you are a teacher in care-based pedagogy, it's something that you have nurtured relationship first. That's why when I come in the room, I say hi. I say previously we have met. That is how I want to get you. You just remember, or you have the prior knowledge that we have met. So trying to build up, nurturing the relationships. So in the care-based pedagogy, you start with nurturing the relationship. So we just can't go into the classroom. Okay, today I'm going to teach you English. We are going to have tense. We are going to, no. You have to build, because sometimes from the relationship, you can even teach the tense. The teaching of tense is better when you are using their perception or their feelings as the product that you want to teach in the class. If we can see here, it says that develop positive, supportive, and empathic relationship. So now, if we see that when I go to school, like how many years ago? Lots years ago. All right. So we go to school, we go to class. Our teachers will say that, okay, today we are going to learn mathematics. So they just start the class. But for care-based nurturing relationship, and actually care-based nurturing relationship, I have go through that because I did my PhD in UK. So how they conduct the class, they don't start the class without asking, how are you? How are you, dear? Are you looking good, dear? That's fine, dear. How are you, love? They will use these kind of things. They will use these kind of terms that will make you feel comfortable in the class. So previously, we have done it, but we didn't put it as a principle of teaching. So now we are coming back to the things that the first thing that you need to do is to nurture the relationship first with your students, whether they have eaten or whether they have, some of you might, not some of us, might feel that is something the previous teacher might have asked about it. I don't have to because I'm in the second period, but I don't have to. But it's not the same because you are now the teacher in the class. So now we are going to do the activities. Can I have this next slide? So the next slide, how to implementing, how are we going to implementation of this care base in terms of positive relationship. So you are going to do an activity. No, I'm not going to. So you have to come out uh, to build the positive relationship. So here, the suggestions say that get to know students individually, greet student warmly, be approachable. Part of it. So now I want you in like a group of 5 or 6. Can you come out? Can you come out later? Let me know. How do you go about to get to know your student individually in the class? The process, how you are going to. Sometimes we say that, oh, I know how to go about, but trust me, when we discuss, we will know different way of doing it. So I'm giving you around 5 minutes. Can you all have 5 minutes? So this is not going to be a lecture. This is going to be a hands-on, because by doing it together, we understand it better. All right. So can you all in a group of 5? You don't have to move around. So it just whoever next to you. So come out. How do you get to know your student individually? How do you do it? Because you are S2 student, so this is a good topics that you can do research, but if you don't know how to do it first, you cannot have a topic or research on it. So how would you do it? So a group of 5, because we are going to have a lots of activities. All the 3 principles, we are going to have you to give me the way of doing it.
I think they are discussing now.
Yeah. All right, okay. So, my lecture in Malay? Both. I can. Saya sebenarnya boleh guna bahasa Malaysia dan bahasa Indonesia sikit-sikit lah. Sebab saya ingatkan yang ini kursus bahasa Inggeris. Tidak mengapa, boleh saja memberi saya jawapan dalam bahasa Melayu. Bahasa Indonesia. Bahasa Indonesia. Bisa saja untuk berikan saya jawapannya dalam bahasa Indonesia. Tak apa-apa. Saya cuba. Kita sama-sama cuba. Bisa. Yeah. So we are doing bilingual today. So yeah. Bilingual. This is good, isn't it? Because bagusnya ialah nanti kita akan lihat perbezaan cara berfikir. Cara berfikir. Kita akan lihat aktiviti bagaimanakah yang akan diutarakan oleh mereka yang dari jurusan bahasa Inggeris dan mereka juga yang dari jurusan bahasa Indonesia. Kita akan lihat adakah perbezaan idea atau ideanya sama. Kerana apa yang mereka lalui untuk bahasa Inggeris as a second language is, for them the challenges is higher because they have to face for students who are English is not their mother tongue. So it's different from you, berbeza dari rakan-rakan yang untuk bahasa Indonesia. Baik, saya berikan masa, kalau sudah bersedia boleh maklumkan jawapannya. So if you are ready, you can let me know the answer of this build positive relationship. Ya, kalau anda sudah mengajar lagi bagus sebab ini yang kita katakan bawa kembali pengalaman yang lalu, pengalaman yang sedia ada. Jadi this is good if you are teachers now. Don't make it complicated. It's easy. Just give me the idea. Jangan bikin yang sukar. Bikin yang mudah. Ini bagi guru yang memang ada di kelas lagi bisa memberi jawapan. Don't make things complicate. Don't complicate things. Kadang kita sudah cukup complicated. Ya, sila.
Okay, good morning, ma'am. We are from English and Indonesia actually, but we're going to try to speak with you in English. Okay. How actually our way as a teachers to know their characteristic, especially one by one. The first one is we can, before we enter that class, we can ask the advisor, wali kelas in Indonesia, their data. For example, this student, how about the background? How about the review school? How about the background. That's the first one. The second one, maybe before we start the class, in new semester or the first one we meet them, we can ask them, but by a game. Yeah, maybe in a game, we make a circle in a group, then we can manage that class. Maybe each person need to tell their friend about their hobby or their favorite color or another, and so on. Maybe my friends will add some argument about this. Yeah, Salma. Sorry, Salsa.
Okay. That's a great idea by having data, right? Data from previous, previous teacher or previous any data from the school, and then using game-based, we call it game-based learning, to know the students. And yes, any argument that your friends say, any arguments on that?
Okay, maybe I have to add something that I also agree with Anisa's opinions, that the first thing we have to know our students, our background or our interest of the students. We as a teacher have to make the group, the circle of the group, that we know that from that group we know the skill of their communication, and then we also as a teacher can know the skill of in each the students. So I also agree with Anisa's opinions that we have to use the circles of the groups.
So in circles, yes. There's another one. Your friends gonna have response.
And maybe Irma wants to add some information.
Sure.
In my opinion, pengalaman bilingual nggak apa-apa ya, Bu?
Boleh.
Kalau dari pengalaman itu biasanya seiring berjalannya waktu, kalau wants to know background of student, itu dari siswanya itu butuh motivasi seperti apa, pelajaran seperti apa. Jadi dari satu siswa ke siswa lain itu butuh masing-masing cara tersendiri untuk belajar dari backgroundnya yang setelah kita tahu. Nah, I'm agree with Salsa. Communication is important.
kalau komunikasi kita dengan siswa atau peserta didik itu baik, insya Allah kita tahu latar belakang anak ini dari keluarga yang seperti apa, lalu dia berasal dari daerah seperti apa, atau dia kekurangan teknologi dan semacamnya. Kita tahu need assessment untuk pelajaran mereka. That's enough.
Okay. Baik, terima kasih. Bagus ya. Tadi boleh saya dapatkan slide seterusnya. Baik, sebab yang dikatakan tadi kita perlu tahu latar belakangnya dan kemudian the next key principle, the well-being. So the first one, yang pertama tadi kita melihat perhubungan. Ya, selain tahu perhubungan, kita juga perlu melihat secara emosi mereka ini dan bagaimanakah keadaan mereka. Ya, kalau kita lihat di sini, if you can see from the slide say that this approach acknowledge student emotional and social being. As a teacher, so how are we going? So the next question, so because the first group already answered, for the next question for you to discuss, if we are saying regarding the emotional and social being, and it say that educator aim to create a safe and inclusive learning environment. So you as educator, because if you go have the opportunity to teach, and some of you are in this group also a teacher, so you are doing it. So now we just call it as a pedagogy of care-based pedagogy, and these are the key principles of it. So we see here that emotional and social being now is what we call something is crucial, very, very crucial. If you can see, a lot of students now, because in my years of school, we don't even know what is anxiety. You know, we just play around, just jumping and go into the class and we learn. But now, a lot of backgrounds now, and some of you are teachers, a lot of children in the school, if you agree with me, having anxiety. So they have this anxiety attack. Some of them in primary school, sometimes I think, how? Because they are just children, should be happy. You know, they should be happy, should be playing, but they have this anxiety. And this is how the pandemic might have, might have caused some of this. So for this emotional and social being, can I have this next slide? So if we can see here how teacher can do in classroom, create a safe and inclusive environment. If you can see from the slide, the established classroom norms emphasize on respect, kindness, and inclusive. So for us to do the respect and kindness, I think most of us is being done a lot. But inclusive, these words of inclusive come out a lot after the pandemic. A lot of research is inclusive, looking the children inclusively. So in your group, can you let me know how are you going to go about in the class doing this inclusive? For the respect and kindness, I'm totally fine. What we can say, I can see that the teachers are doing in it. So for the inclusive, so you can browse the inclusive, and then how a teacher in the class can inculcate inclusivity in their teaching. This is much harder than the previous question. So how are we going to go about? Establish classroom norms that emphasize on inclusive. So what's the meaning of inclusive? Anyone tell me? From the Google, what does it say on inclusive? Anyone? The longer you take, the longer this talk will be. Because we have a few more key principles. Yes. Okay, silakan.
I think
So the meaning of inclusive means that no one is being left,
Yes.
everyone is respected. Kalau dalam bahasa Indonesia tuh mengikut sertakan.
Ya. Baik, bagus. Jadi macam mana kita nak laksana mengikut sertakan semua yang mempunyai latar yang berbeza? Bagaimana di dalam kelas kita nak melaksanakan ini? Kita ni akan jadi S2 education. Jadi kita mesti berkeyakinan untuk bercakap tentang pendidikan. Jadi kalau kita lihat dalam ada jawapan nak kongsi dengan saya? Is there anyone want to share with me any answers? How do you go about to do the inclusivity in the class? Baik, saya cadangkan sajalah, senang ya. Kalau kita lihat dalam yang ini memang kita sudah laksanakan. Have you heard about the keterbezaan, differentiated learning? Kan dah tahu pun. Jadi bila kita nak mengatasi masalah kanak-kanak atau murid-murid kita yang berbeza, so when we want to address this inclusive, so we use the strategy of differentiated learning. This is why I said that the principle of this care is not really far beyond what we are doing now. We are just putting it together to understand these children through the care base. So we are like just now your friend said to nurture relationship we can use the game base, isn't it? So the nature to nurture the relationship. So for this we want to have the environment of safe environment, and we want to address the inclusive, so we can use the differentiated learning. So I go to the next principle. We have a lot of another 7 or 8 principles. So we can go to the next principle. Here is next is holistic development. So we are the third principle is care-based pedagogy recognize the important nurturing the holistic development. When it says that holistic development, it does not mean only academically, isn't it? It will include what we call further than the academic. So it's a holistic development. So the next slide, please. So the holistic development here. So implementation in the classroom for the holistic development, we
actually we will finish the general lecture at 12, Prof. So
I
yeah.
have another hour, so it's fine.
Yes.
I'm just concerned that. Okay, so now as I said to you, the next principle is holistic development. So how are we going to? So in terms of holistic development in the classroom, how do you go about to do this? So do you because when I discuss with you how you are going to go about doing this, another way of thinking is that as a S2 student, and some of you I'm in the 3rd year, I don't know whether you already have your research topics, and then for this first year student, you might think of your research topics. So this is the way for you to look forward what kind of topic around for you to do research. So apart from thinking the holistic development in the classroom, how to go about doing it, it's just the same what kind of research I can do on this area. So I want you to answer, berikan saya jawapan dalam kelas bagaimanakah kita nak laksanakan pembangunan secara holistik ini. Kalau kita lihat di sini, implementation dia dicadangkan mengenal pasti, the next slide. Yes, mengenal pasti, recognize and validate student emotion. Kemudian be responsive emotion. Kemudian kalau kita lihat di sini, teach emotion self regulation. Mengapa dia masukkan emotional di sini sedangkan, ya sekejap ya. I'm correct. So sedangkan kita bercakap tentang holistic development. Apakah yang kita boleh belajar dekat sini? Be attentive to emotional, sedangkan kita bercakap tadi key personalnya ialah tentang holistic development. Boleh tak buat hubung kait? Can you go the previous slide? Slide ini mengatakan prinsipal untuk kita care base ialah holistic development. The next slide. Tetapi bila kita nak buat holistic development ni, how we are going to go about to do this holistic development, we associate it with emotional. Mengapa holistic tu nak dengan emotional? What are the relationship? Why we to implement this holistic going through the emotional? Anyone? Is it difficult question? Okay, boleh cuba, sila. Boleh ada mikrofon di sini. Ada siapa boleh tahu? Ada mikrofon. Ini
Okay, Prof. I think why holistic and emotional itu berhubungan karena apabila di dalam suatu kelas itu ada salah satu siswa yang tidak terbuka atau tidak happy atau tidak membaur dengan teman-temannya, maka kelas itu tidak akan terstruktur atau terjalan dengan baik menurut saya. Jadi sebagai teacher atau sebagai guru itu harus melihat emosional dari peserta didik kita gitu.
Lagi di sini juga bila kita katakan holistic development, here when we say that holistic development, we are not only cater for academic, because sometimes we tend to forget when we are teacher, we are going to finish the syllabus, isn't it? We are okay. I'm a English teacher now. I have to finish all the grammar, and then you are going to go teaching. Teaching reading to recognize important factors inside the text. So we tend to think about the academic side. So holistic is not just about academic. This is why to implement the holistic just now, we talk about emotional, we talk about the needs, isn't? So this is how care-based pedagogy is a bit different. So when they talk about holistic, it's not holistic in terms of, sometimes in Malaysia holistic, they will say adab. We have to adab. Sekarang kami ke arah adab. You know, you are not a great student if you have a capacity of thinking like, I don't know here, passing with 4 flat, is it? Passing with the bright student 4 flat, is it for your CGPE? Yeah, like the highest grade.
The same thing.
So yeah, but then you can be a 4 flat, but you are very rude. So that's not the way. Pedagogy now. We are looking into molding students in holistic way of definition differently. So this is why if you see in care-based pedagogy, they go about looking into holistic is into emotional. Because why? Because these sets of children just having a very bad time. You know, and when we say this care-based pedagogy, if we can think, we are also not looking into the pandemic. Some of our children, they are like what we call, they gone through a bad time. Some of them, sorry to say, some of them have parents divorce. A lot of now it's a lot in our class. If you are a teacher, you will agree with me, isn't it? This is the disruption also can be defined not only on pandemic. The social, problem also can be a disruption. So this care-based pedagogy need to be looked into, because we have a lot of problems around. Let us go for the next principle. This is a principle. I think you have this topic, one of your issue, isn't it? Culturally responsive care. I think in your week, I have seen, because Dr. Sari shared with me your syllabus. So one of it is culturally, what is it? Topic in week. Yeah. Relevant? Pedagogy. In the relevant pedagogy, and you are talking about culturally, whether it's culturally suitable for the children. So here, there is another way, because this is why I take this pedagogy, care-based pedagogy for today, because I can see in your syllabus, because I'm taking it together, because of your syllabus having this as well. If you can see here, again, just now, when we talk about the previous one, inclusive, isn't it? We talk about inclusive. When in terms of culturally responsive care, we also talk about inclusive again. But in terms of here, it's not only inclusive in the level of thinking, this is culturally inclusive. Now we are different in culturally. So I'm not sure here how we are going to see in Indonesia. So is it the same in my country, in my place, when it's culturally different? We have sometimes we have total cultural different, because we have Indian in the class, we have Malay, we have Chinese, and really totally different background, and previously it's not very difficult to teach, but now it's very difficult. We can because of this digital movement, everybody put on the digital, so it affect the way of one race to another race. But in Indonesia, maybe culturally different. How do you define the culturally different? Because my country, in my country, we can see that the races is really different. So how about in Indonesia? Can anyone tell me? Is it because of your different province or different? When we say culturally different, inclusive. So for us, we can, because of our major race, three major races in Malaysia. So how in? Ada jawapan? Yang sebelah sini nak jawab? Silakan.
Yeah. Okay. Komite, please. The mic to. Okay.
All right. In our country, the cultures, the differences are in the ethnics.
Okay.
Yeah, because for example, in one province, there are so many ethnies. Like for example, in Palembang, they are more. Not Palembang, Sumatera Selatan. In Sumatera Selatan, there are
several ethnicities.
Right.
For example,
Mhm. Yeah, ini.
yeah, for example like pagar alam, kayu agung, lahat, like something
Yeah.
like that.
Baik. Alhamdulillah that you are aware there's a cultural differences. So because if we can see in teaching and learning, it's not easy actually to cater to everyone in the class. But at least what we can do is just have a few of our teaching way of doing in the class, catering them. For the next slide, you can see. So implementation of care-based pedagogy in the class in terms of culturally responsive teaching. So when we want to be responsive culturally, what we can do is that respect diversity of culture. And then in apart from that, we have materials in curriculum. So we have also create environment. So can anyone tell me in terms of materials in the curriculum, how is it is being done to cater this cultural response? How it has been done in terms of material in our curriculum, in your curriculum? Ada yang nak jawab? Ada. Sila, can you give the mic to this? Kita ada jawapan. Sudah hangat dah perbincangannya.
So in our new curriculum, it's Kurikulum Merdeka Belajar.
Ya, Merdeka.
There's P5, project P5 penguatan pelajar Pancasila,
Yeah.
which in there there's some activities done by the students. I know one of the activity is making kain jumputan. Kain jumputan is kain khas from Palembang.
Baik.
That's the curriculum. And then for the material in the textbooks, they also the authors of the books also include the diverse culture things like for example procedure text, how to make batik maybe, how to make batik and how to make traditional foods. There's the culture material in the textbook, also in the project activity, not
Baik.
only in the book but also in the project.
That's great. Okay, maybe we have seen this culturally responsive teaching through. We can see through materials and curriculum. We can see that happening, isn't it? But in the classroom itself, create environment. So how are we going to create an environment? Perlukah kita nak membina suasana yang menunjukkan kepelbagaian budaya ini, dan bagaimanakah ia dilaksanakan? Another thing for the material and curriculum, we also have to be very sensitive regarding the culture. I just like to share with you. I am one of the textbook panel in Malaysia. So for the final of the textbook in Malaysia, have to go through a final panel review. So in our review, one of this textbook is having like photos of one ethnics, and it said that the ethnics is a warrior, and we get into trouble when the photo does not represent the real warrior of that ethnic. Do you have the problem that? See, so this is what we call being sensitive regarding to be responsive to the culture. It's not only, yes, we have them in our textbook, but how far that we are really looking into of using that culture part, because as I said to you, in some countries, when you don't really represent them correctly, they get back to you, right? So that what I'm trying to propose here, to be sensitive. Even though we said we are trying to put on the culture, but we have to be sensitive, because I think the problem in Malaysia was we are having in textbook the photos of a warrior from, I think one of the actinate from Sabah, and the tattoo, because they have a certain tattoo, that particular tattoo was not on the body, on the photos. So then when we want to talk to culture, we really have to care that particular. All right, let's us go for the next principle, collaborative learning. So we have done it a lot, collaborative. So I go this very fast. So collaborative learning here, so encourage peer group. In terms of the care base, here, so we are having this one first. So collaborative learning, and we are support, what we can say here, we are really into taking on the peer support. So in peer support in classroom, how do you go about doing a peer support? So let us see the implementation, please. Right, the implementation here to promote peer support in the classroom is into incorporate cooperative learning. So this is nothing new, isn't it? Cooperative learning, you have done that. Can you let me know any example that you have experienced cooperative learning? You yourself experience, because you need to experience before you can teach. So any of you can tell me any experience on cooperative learning? Silakan.
So good morning, Professor.
Yeah.
So in our classroom, we have a project in school. In each group, we have a project in school. There is elementary school, junior high school, and senior high school. In junior high school, we implement a strategy named cooperative strategy, and then the name is think, pair, and share. This is we implement in a class, and then we have a discussion in each group in the classroom. So the group is chairmate. Chairmate consists of two students, and then we have a theme or topic like, we discuss about descriptive text, about our hobby, or about fruits, and then each group what is that? Share their opinion about the fruit. Banana is yellow, and then the taste is sweet. But they make it in group, not individually. That is the example.
All right, that's good, fantastic. Thank you, dear. All right, we can move on into. Thank you very much for that. So we move to the next principle, open communication. Just now in the first slide, some of you have relayed into communication. So another principle in care-based learning, care-based pedagogy is open communication. And when we talk about open communication, the word there is that honest communication. So now are we having an honest communication? You know, because it's not easy to say, isn't it? Sometimes we have just to put the smile, even though inside there's something going on down, like down there. So yes, so in care-based, that's why for me to understand, for me to talk to you now, I have to implement this as well. That's why we say, tak mengapa, tak ada jawapan yang betul, boleh jawab. That is open communication, so that we want people to give the answer. So here, open communication is honest communication, key elements, the key elements of it. So if we can see that the dialogue between, for the open communication, so we can see the implementation, please. So we have here the implementation. So for the implementation, listen actively. Normally, as teacher, we talk a lot. So do we listen? How do we listen? So in care-based pedagogy, this is one of the listen active and empathic. So this is good in the class, and how do you go about doing it? In your experience as students, or now you are going to find, you can make this one as a research topic. How do teachers in class listen actively to their student? How do you do? It's not easy. I am an educator. How do you go about listen actively in concern of the ideas? How do you do it? And or if you don't know how to do it, how your teacher previously do it? Do they listen to you? So how they do it? Can anyone share with me? Or if you can answer the last one, encourage students to ask questions, share their thoughts. Now you are trying to share your thoughts. All right, and engage meaningful dialogue. Now we are trying to engage in a meaningful dialogue. So we are trying to do the care-based pedagogy now. Anyone can talk. Semua bisa berbicara. Tiada jawapan yang benar. Semua jawapan betul. Semua tak ada jawapan yang palsu. Semua jawapan betul, benar. Kita cuba semua kaedah kita menerima jawapan orang itu. Kadang-kadang kita kata salah jawapan anda. Kadang-kadang jawapan itu salah kepada anda, tidak salah kepada dia. Itulah open communication. Kita selalu menganggap jawapan itu salah. Kalau saya kata jawapan anda tadi tidak benar. Oh tidak begitu. Tidak kepada saya. Mungkin iya kepada orang lain. That is open communication. Jadi untuk melaksanakan open communication, kita perlu mempunyai hati yang terbuka. Sebab untuk menerima perbezaan. Tadi sebab untuk menerima perbezaan secara culture, untuk menerima perbezaan dalam perhubungan. Jadi di sini kita lihat bahawa untuk kita mempunyai open communication, yang terutamanya ialah kita sendiri boleh menerima pandangan orang lain. Tak ada jawapannya. Lagi satu, kalau anda buat penyelidikan, no research is a perfect research. No answer is a perfect answer. Kemudian begitu juga seperti yang saya katakan tadi, benar kepada orang seorang belum tentu benar kepada orang lain. Begitu juga tidak benar kepada seseorang tidak semestinya tidak benar kepada orang lain. Jadi ini yang kita katakan open communication. Jadi kalau kita nak mempunyai pemikiran aras tinggi, kita perlu bawa perkara ini lebih tinggi. Tidak hanya melihat pada aras communication, maksudnya perhubungan begitu saja. Penerimaan itu bagaimana? Right? Sekarang kita teruskan kepada prinsipal yang seterusnya. Saya sebenarnya menyediakan gambar-gambar ni sengaja menerima gambar-gambar. Purposely, if you can look into all the photos that I have tried to share here, I try to bring all the Asian countries. So we are in the Asian. So if we want to say care-based pedagogy, should be in Malaysia or in Indonesia. It could be anywhere. And we hope that we can have the Asian first, because we culturally almost the same. So if we can see here is the teacher from Cambodia or Thailand. She's showing individual support. So how are you going to, if we can see here from the photo, it's really hard to see an individual support, isn't it? Can you see from the photos an individual support? Because she's teaching in front. But can we say she is not doing an individual support from the photo? So the next principle is individual support. It said that recognize each student unique. And then if we see from the photo, if we are teaching in front, holding a card, and we are trying to say that we are teaching in by giving individual support. Can we say that she is giving individual support? There's a dilemma, isn't it? So for the first dilemma, that's why I just want to open up your mind here. Sometimes when I say that, I just put this controversial, I want to put an controversy here. You know, we have individual support, but then the photo does not show the individual support. So is it by having individual support by talking, dear, are you okay today? Is it individual support? Yes. Most of us thought that is individual support. Sometimes it can be that this person does not want me to ask her. You know, sometimes it's just that, leave me alone. I just need my space. So this is why I said it's not easy to do the care-based pedagogy. This need real research. When we want to say just now, an open communication just now. Open. Saya kata benar kepada orang tu, mungkin tidak benar kepada orang lain. This is the same. Individual support. Sometimes we want to give the support. But that particular person said that, I don't need your support. That might be happening. So how are we going to go and how are we going to implement? The best way to implement? The answer is no. There's no what we call the best way. It's very difficult to find the best way. So let us see now the individual support here, the implementation. If you can see there, identify uniqueness and needs. That's why we have to find the person uniqueness and needs. If you can see the needs, as I said just now, maybe that person don't even want to be asked, how are you? Say that some people feel that why when you are the one that never asked in the classroom, you know, you are a very fierce teacher going in, okay class, open your book. Now today we are going to look at the topic number 12. Are you ready now? Are you ready? No. Can you please give your attention to me now? So, how do you feel? Isn't it? So this is but then that particular same teacher go into the classroom the next day. Hello everyone. Are you all looking good today? What will you think about that particular teacher? So when we talk about this individual support, we will have to go back just now the honesty, isn't it? The honesty, the previous key principles. We have talked about honesty. So if we can see here, for the individual support, the same thing, provide differentiated instruction because of the individual support. How are we going to do how many students in your class? Who is teaching now? Siapakah yang guru sekarang? Ya, yang guru berapa ramaikah pelajar?
23.
Alhamdulillah, 23.
Yeah, in elementary school student.
Elementary school students. Any more teachers?
I have 29.
29.
Junior high school.
Junior high school. Any more teachers? Silakan.
I have 32 students
32
in
students.
junior high school.
Junior high. The one that will any more? Any guru? Bukan. Ya, sila cikgu. Sila.
Okay, I have 40 students in senior high school and 40 in senior high school. So it's 80 students.
80 students.
Okay, Prof. I have more than 100
More than, this is what I want to hear. More than 100, yes.
because I mengajar,
Yeah,
teaching
mengajar.
on bimbingan belajar, Prof,
Mhm.
di bimbel course gitu. And cara mengajarnya itu semi privat, Prof.
Mhm.
Semi privat. Jadi siswa datang pulang gitu.
Baik. Baik, terima kasih ya. So if we look into the numbers of group just now, if the teacher have 23, she might able to provide differentiated instruction, isn't it? Differentiated, because she only have around 23. But if your student like this just now in the class 40 of them, can you really cater differentiated? So that's why differentiated, I think you have go through this differentiated instruction, isn't it? You can have differentiated in terms of the activities, you can have in terms of the materials, and also the product, that end product of the differentiated instruction. So this is not easy. As I said to you, individual support is not easy to be done. But care-based pedagogy approach is doing the individual support. At least you can do, as I said to you, is just like going to the class and having an honest, open communication. Right. Wait, let's go. I think we only have another 3 principles. We are going to end our session soon. Right? Can you bear with me, or do you need a rest? I forgot to give you a time out, 5 minutes. If not, can I just finish that? Are you okay? Okay. So this is the next principle, ethical development. So if you can see from the photos, ethical development, pedagogy emphasizes on the cultivation of ethical and moral value. It helps students to develop sense of responsibility, empathy, and commitment to the social justice. When I go to school in my years, I don't even know what is ethical. Now you just imagine you're going to have ethical development for the primary school. Here call it
Elementary school.
elementary. Yeah. So the elementary school, and ethical development in elementary school. So it's not, you see in the photos, this is Indonesia. I took the photos from the internet. Isn't it? This is in Indonesia. So actually in Indonesia, you have done this. You are ahead of that care-based pedagogy. So you have this pedagogy because you want this commitment of the social justice. So but then it is being done because this need to be done in a way without making problems or create a monster, isn't it? We don't want to create a monster later because we take the ethical development, okay, you need to be committed in your social justice, and then all the students later on, cikgu tidak masuk kelas. No, social justice in the area of the school. Would that be good or not? Do you think is it good or not? Can you tell me? I don't think so, isn't it? It's gonna make the school. It is going to disrupt the school teaching and learning. The teacher cannot go to the class. The head teacher have to go looking into this problem. So it stops the teaching and learning process. So that is why ethical development, even though it is important, it is not easy to conduct. But we have to do it, but in a way without jeopardizing the teaching and learning in terms of friendly environment in the class, right? So how to do it? We said incorporate discussion of ethics and encourage critical thinking about ethics. And then model ethics behavior. So my next question, if you are still here with me, or if you are still here with me, which I have only half an hour, please be with me a few minutes. Sekejap saja lagi kita nak berakhir. Dalam pengalaman anda dekat sekolah, adakah anda pernah berbincang tentang etika? Semasa sekolah rendah atau sekolah menengah, when you are in the elementary or the secondary school, have you ever talk about ethics? If you have, can you give me an example? Ya, silakan.
So one of the example is if you walk in front of the teacher, you must bow.
Yeah.
And then for the school itself, there is some rules that we need to follow. And yeah, just like the uniform and talk addition.
Yeah.
So before you enter the classroom, you might say greeting to the teacher. And then if you are late, I'm sorry I'm late. And we cannot enter the classroom and go out to the classroom without the teacher permission. That's the ethic that we learn.
That's good. That's one of the ethics. Another way of having this critical thinking on ethical dilemmas is like an open discussion. Should you bring your laptop? Oh no, should you bring your mobile phone? Is it called handphone or mobile phone here? Handphone, yeah? So you call a handphone. Can you bring your handphone into your class? You ask a secondary school student. No, this is another ethical issue that can be discussed. Example of ethical issue. Or you can say that should all students in Indonesia wear uniforms? You have uniforms in it. Yeah. Should you wear uniform now, like now? This is ethical as well. No, it's an ethical, but you need critical thinking to discuss on it. Because this is another way, because in ethical you have dilemmas, isn't it? Yes. So in some schools, no, in Malaysia we use a uniform as well. But we don't use a uniform for S1, S2. We don't have. So yeah, because this is another way of or a topic that you can discuss regarding ethical. Is it an easy one, the most easy one? Like, is it ethical for like the easiest one will be the handphone. Should you bring your handphone to school or not? That is the most, the most easiest way to think, to discuss. And the next one, reflective practice. So for the base care-based pedagogy, the second final key principle is a reflective practice. Educators engaged in care-based often engage reflective practice. So continuously assessing their own teaching. So this is very good. So reflective practice. Sekarang siapa yang cikgu? Adakah anda melakukan reflektif di sekolah? And if you are not a teacher, if you are just a student, do you do a reflective on your study? So soalan saya, sebagai sesiapa yang sudah menjadi cikgu, bagaimana anda membuat amalan reflektif dalam pengajaran? Sebagai yang tak belum jadi cikgu yang rasa, oh saya tak payah jawab soalan ni. Oh tidak, saya bagi soalan tambahan. Soalan tambahan saya, sebagai pelajar, bagaimana anda buat reflektif terhadap apa yang anda pelajari? So ada dua soalan di situ. I have two questions, two sets of people gonna answer my question. What I want is that for you to think about reflective. I think your issue one is a reflection you have, isn't it?
Yes.
In your syllabus. So, boleh ada jawapan dari wakil? Kita bagilah wakil-wakil yang belum bercakap lagi. Sila. Silakan. Yang mengajar tak ramai, jadi dia akan jadi orang yang sama. Betul tak? Yang jadi cikgu. Macam mana cikgu ataupun sini panggil guru ya?
Guru.
Bagaimana guru?
That one.
Silakan. Yang tu yang guru juga. Ya, silakan. Yang bukan guru, yang ini jawapan dari perspektif guru atau perspektif bukan guru yang ini?
Guru.
Baik, silakan cikgu. Saya panggil cikgu pula dah, tempat saya panggil cikgu. Guru. Silakan.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
I will answer it. For the teacher, as a teacher, reflective practice, I will implement for me. Is the first is journaling for me. I will write for me what is kekurangan or weakness or not from me as a teacher for next semester. And for the student, I will see the reflective practice is from student feedback like assessment or apa sih, angket like that for me or for the student like that.
Bagus. Maksudnya sebagai guru bertanya kepada you ask your student, as a teacher you ask your student to evaluate.
Yes,
evaluate
me as a teacher.
Your teaching by giving them the questionnaire.
Yes.
Our short question.
Yes.
That's great. That's good. Reflect the very reflective teacher. Any more from teacher? Any more? Atau sebagai pelajar, mana yang belum jadi cikgu ni? Yang belum jadi guru? Ada yang nak jawab? The teacher have answered that she will do a reflection by asking students to answer questionnaire regarding her deliver how she deliver the instruction. Ya, silakan. Ini yang wakil pelajar yang nak jawab, ada? Yang bukan guru, mana wakil yang bukan guru?
Anyone?
Ada sesiapa? Bertabahlah kita sedikit saja lagi. The battery is just a few percent left. Contoh dalam kuliah ini, katalah yang kuliah ini, kita nak buat refleksinya bagaimana? Sebagai pelajar. Kalau sebagai guru tadi, rakan anda katakan dia sebagai guru, dia nak tahu pengajarannya berjaya atau tidak, dia akan beri soal selidik, questionnaire kepada muridnya. Tetapi anda sebagai pelajar semua ni pelajar sebenarnya, tak jadi guru semua sedang jadi pelajar. Jadi bila kita pelajar, macam mana kita buat refleksi apa yang kita belajar? So when you are a student, how do you make a reflection? What did you learn? What did I learn just now? What have she been saying for that 1.5 hour just now? Silakan.
Okay.
I'll answer as a student.
Yes, student.
Yeah. As student, maybe we can say with our teachers, but of course with a nice attitude, of course, like give hope harapan, kritik, pesan. And then also usually in class, at the beginning of the class, I'll ask my student to write in sticky notes apa yang mereka inginkan selama 1 semester ke depan in a sticky note. And then I'll stitch that sticky note in my room, of course. And then at the end of the class, I'll see apakah harapan-harapan mereka, for example, ketika diminta menulis di awal, ada yang berharap, Bu, saya ingin bisa mengungkapkan perasaan melalui puisi. Nah, di akhir kita lihat apakah anak-anak sudah mampu menulis puisi atau tidak. Jadi saya rasa apa yang mereka harapkan itu sangat perlu kita tampung di awal, dan di akhir kita refleksikan apakah keinginan mereka ketika belajar dengan kita itu terwujud atau tidak. That's all. Thank you.
Okey, itu refleksi yang sangat baik ya. Terima kasih. Jadi kalau kita nak katakan refleksi yang telah dibuat ya dalam kursus ini, how we are going to the reflective practice just now, right? So we have 2 groups just now, as a teacher just now and then as a student. What we can see that whatever we are in the class, and at the end of the instruction, we will have the feedback. So that is how we conduct that. Well, we are approaching the last key principle. The last key principle, student-centered approach. So for the care-based pedagogy, the last one is the student-centered approach. I am sure all of you have done this as a teacher, because most of us know that the approach in teaching a student is through the student-centered. But do you think, I always like to ask question in another way, do you think only student-centered is the best way to teach? This is called student-centered, care-based pedagogy aligned with student-centered approach. Focus on student individual needs, goals, and experiences. So in our class, that like your friends just now said to me, we have 100 students. How are we going to conduct student-centered approach? And for your friend just now said that in her class, she have 40 students. How you want to conduct? So when we say about care-based pedagogy, when they give you a principles of teaching, key principles of care-based, it's like student-centered. Sometimes we also need to question whether it is possible to be done in our class. So sometimes if it's not possible, if we have 100 students, that particular group, can you use care-based pedagogy? Because pedagogy we have a lot, because we are entering the final of our principle. I'm not saying that student-centered is not good. This is part of the care-based pedagogy. But when we have a number of students, 100 in the class for one of your friends, and you have 40 just now, one level is 40, this another level is 40. So can you really impose this care-based pedagogy? You might not be able. So what I'm opening here is that some of the care-based pedagogy key principles are in some area it cannot be done. So when it cannot be done, because we are not rigid in terms of what kind of pedagogy we are going to use. So we can also combine this pedagogy with other pedagogy. Right? Sometimes if you are doing, like I said, you have a project-based pedagogy, you have problem-based, you have inquiry-based, you have the cooperative So in terms of classroom, which is so huge, that you cannot conduct this care-based pedagogy, please don't left it, but please combine it with other means or other ways to to implement the care-based pedagogy. So for the next slides, please. This is the way to implement. So we are not going to go this. So because I have another 10 minutes, we need to have a Q&A to give you the chance to answer to question. So for the final slide, please. So I have left these slides with your friends here. So you can have the slides. And in the slide, the next one, in the slide, I also have provide all the resources that you can get for this. So because now education is open, isn't it? So you can also go through this. And the next one. Okay. So to have books, and we also have the websites, right? So you can go through all this. You can get the slides from your friends. I end my talk, for today with all the resources that you can go through, and I hope I have opened another knowledge for you regarding another types of pedagogy, which is care-based pedagogy. When I say this care-based pedagogy derived from the pandemic, but as I said to you, is don't just focus because of the pandemic. It can happen at any time. So I open the floor for any Q&A.
Okay, thank you so much for Professor Jana for her insight. A very interesting topic to discuss for today, guys. Okay, so that's all of the presentation. So now we open the question and answer session. So if there is any question that you have, you may raise your hand, please. Okay, Wendy, please.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay. First, I would like to say we are really grateful, Professor Janans, because we can make you in person. Okay, relate to our topic today. Okay, as a teacher, it is very important for us to know our students' background first. So we have kinds of the student, whether it is introvert, extrovert. So I would like to say to know from your point of view, how can pedagogy be effectively implemented in the classroom to create supportive and nurturing in learning environments and well-being in the emotional need. Okay, thank you.
So thank you for the question. So yes, because in our class we have, that's why we talk about inclusive just now, isn't it? We have introvert, we have extrovert, like you say, introvert, extrovert. That is part of the inclusive, because they are very individual. So as educator for 30 years already, and I have taught in primary school. Before I become a lecturer, I taught in primary school in Malaysia. Primary school is elementary school. I taught in elementary school, then I go and taught teaching in secondary school and become a lecturer. So I have the experience teaching all these 7 years children, and then 12 years, and then go to the one in the 16 years with all the hypo groups of students, and now I'm teaching those in universities. In universities, they have also diverse age. You know, I have my PhD student at 65 years old. And then I have my youngest student doing PhD. It's just 20, I think 25, I think 25, 65 and 25. So it's a diverse. It's a, this is the issue in like you are raising as a teacher, isn't it? You are talking about introvert and extrovert. So apart from this introvert and extrovert, we also have levels of difference. So how are we going to do the what kind of best pedagogy? As I said in my presentation just now, there's no the best way, isn't it? At my end of my talk just now, we need to combine. Sometimes, like I said, we might use the care-based pedagogy at the beginning of the semester. At the beginning of the semester, the key principle, when you say that you are using care-based pedagogy, you don't have to use the 10 principle, because I am a care-based person, care-based teacher, I have to do all these 10 principles. No. It's just that when you are doing that particular or one or two or three of the principle, you are in the pedagogy base, already in the pedagogy base. And in that classroom, if in the same classroom, as you said, that you have extrovert students, that you said you cannot, you being care, like I said to you, I don't want, please don't care about me. Some of them leave me alone. You know, sometimes they are, because those are with the high anxiety students. You know, sometimes they come from the background of because they are the only child in the house. So how are we going to give the best pedagogy? As you said, as I said to you, sometimes we need to combine. And as I say again, if I give you just now like 10 principle, that 10 principle is not that you have to implement 10 that can be called as you are doing care-based pedagogy. You might be combined of the 3. So I am now doing care-based because I am looking into culture of my student, as well as I am looking at inclusive, giving the open communication of that culture. So you are doing that care-based pedagogy. So care-based pedagogy does not mean you implement each of one every time. You know, sometimes you may have 1 or 2 of your teaching and learning strategies, incorporate that particular key principle of care-based. That's my answer. Am I answering your question?
Yes, I get the point. Thank you very much, Professor.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
Maybe one more question from the participants. Anyone? Okay.
Silakan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Prof.
Yeah.
Professor Janan. So my name is Miftahun Najah Ditya Pratama. I am interested with culturally responsive teaching,
Yes.
Prof.
Okay.
So in my previous study in PPG, we also learned that CRT, Prof, and in implemented that kind of method, CRT in school. Apa namanya? The teacher, the school use just apa namanya? Mengenalkan berbagai macam etnik mereka seperti itu, Prof. My question is it true in CRT? Bagaimana cara mengajarkan CRT itu, Prof, yang benar begitu? Apakah hanya mengenalkan budaya-budaya mereka seperti baju adat, or makanan tradisional seperti itu, atau kebiasaan mereka, their behavior in that ethnics like that, Prof? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, terima kasih untuk soalan. Thank you for the question. So you are asking me CRT. Can I know the short form for what? The CRT. That culturally responsive teaching. Thank you for the question. So if we can see your question just now, because I can see now we are teaching. We thought that we are doing CRT by giving them. Oh, this is like baju Palembang, and then this is the food. Is it enough by doing that? That we are saying that is CRT, isn't it? So actually, if you want to go, this is just my opinion. I might be wrong, right? So what I can say, in my opinion, for us to do the CRT in the next level is by combining with the ethical just now, isn't it? So when you say you this is baju Palembang, so what is the needs for us to have this baju Palembang for another 10 years? So that way you are creating the students to do the CRT is not the level of understand this is baju Palembang. But they will learn, why do I need to sustain this baju Palembang? What will happen if we don't sustain that baju Palembang? You will lose your culture, isn't it? You will lose your identity. So that is how we teach the CRT. It's just not by introducing that particular. Is it azan? Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't hear this. So shall I continue? Just now, as you said that CRT is just like this is the costume or this is the food, isn't it? We just introduce them, and we thought that by introducing that we already implement the CRT. But actually, to make it a real CRT is just by making them understand why we need to sustain that particular culture or food. So in that way, they will understand that if we don't sustain, we will lose our identity. That is the higher level of to do the CRT. That is my opinion. Not just by showing them, but ask them to think by giving question, what will happen if you don't sustain? So that is my answer.
Okay, Prof. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Any more question?
This one first, and after this one, yeah.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Thank you, ma'am. As we know, ma'am explained about 10 principles of pedagogical of care. Now, I'm a teacher in a village, and as a teacher, I want to improve pedagogical care because I think this part can make me understand more about student, school, and environment. But ma'am, I have a problem. When the village, I know when I want to join workshop or training to improve my pedagogical training care is so difficult because the transportation and etc. So my question is, how to improve pedagogical care from the teacher in the village, except workshop or training, or we can just apply the 10 principle that that ma'am explained before. Like that. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the question. Okay, because care-based pedagogy is an open one. You know, you don't have to have a certificate on that for you to implement. Right. So like if you are in the village just now, you say that it's not easy for you to attend a proper course unless they make currently they don't have a particular course that will say that you are now registered and certified to conduct a care-based pedagogy. No, it's not. Because it's an open one. It's not like a like a psychology certificate. Like if you are for the counseling, isn't it? Counseling, you need a certificate to become a counselor. Then only you can implement as a counselor. But for the care-based pedagogy, you don't have to do that. Because now, actually now after we discuss in this, in this talk, you can just use it after that. But if you say that, I want to nurture the relationship, I want to do the open communication, by all means, yes. Try. If you try, I'm very happy if you take this talk and then you implement in your class. That will be great. All right? Okay, thank you. And then the last question just now from one of you.
Okay, ma'am. I want to ask your opinion about for young learners. Maybe pedagogic is most value that the teacher must have, but for old learners, only use the lecture or ceramah, gitu, ceramah method. If how to tell them about that?
Okay, actually, because this one is pedagogy. So when you want me to give a lecture on that, it's going to be andragogy, and we have the hatagogy. That's a lot. It's going to be for for adult learners, the strategy will be different. It's not going to be care-based, but then it's a care-based, the principle will be different for an adult learner. So when an adult learner, they are more, they have the, what we call, we will do the one that, the pedagogy which is, appropriate from them is that they have the autonomy, the learning autonomy. So for the adult learner, they have the what we call learning autonomy. They have the autonomy to decide what they want to learn and how they're going about to learn that. So it's very different from children, because children needs to grow. We need to nurture them. So in order for us to nurture them and they want to study, so they will have the pedagogy. So for the adult, we have the andragogy. So it will be different. So maybe we can talk further on this. Yeah, but for the adult, you go and browse on learning autonomy. So learning autonomy is that the learner have the rights, what they want to learn, how they're going to learn that. They decide. And we become the moderator, and that is more appropriate to adult learner. So that's my answer. Right?
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Okay. I think that's enough. Okay, everyone. I think because we have limited time, okay, and we would like to have Isoma, I think we have to stop the Q&A. All right, so let me conclude first for the discussion today. So from the presentation that presented by Prof. Jana, pedagogy of care, okay, is emphasized on creating a supportive and inclusive learning environment, and also it prioritizes student holistic well-being, and also it considers the emotion and social need alongside with the student academic. And this approach emphasizes the teacher-student relationship to build on trust and empathy. So care-based pedagogy also value the diversity, adapting to various learning style. I think that's all for today's session. Thank you very much for Prof. Jana for today's session. Me as moderator, I'm so sorry if we made so many mistakes in this session. Lastly, we say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
And I just would like to say the last one. Thank you very much for staying with me, and I'm really happy having overview. And with all your questions, I can say that you are listening, and I really hope just now that you want to implement. Please do so. Okay, thank you, everyone. I love you all.
Maybe we want to have a photo session with you. Yeah, committee, please have a photo session first. Yeah, all the participants.
Let us take a picture and then with the whole group.